The media's negative coverage of top GOP candidates seems to mirror the coverage leading up to the 2016 election. And tonight's primary debate already has them talking.
Ethics does not seem to be a stumbling block for this crop of Republican candidates.
Ron DeSantis will literally be center stage tomorrow night. If he has sort of these lines that he will try to go to kind of own the headline.
But when the big lights hit you and people start punching you in the head, sometimes those plans go out the window, and he's going to get punched a bunch.
It's hard to imagine a scenario where Donald Trump doesn't become the Republican nominee.
What those numbers suggest is that a whole lot of people in Iowa are going to hell.
Fox News contributor and columnist for The Messenger, Joe Concha, joins me now. Joe, on top of that negative coverage that we just played, some of it negative, what do you make of the fact that a lot of really serious mistakes that President Biden have recently made, like comparing the Maui wildfires to a kitchen fire, that received very little coverage at all? So what do you make of this disparity and how it will impact 2024?
Carly, this isn't hyperbole. What we witnessed from the President of the United States in Maui in terms of his words, broaching a small fire that happened in his kitchen 20 years ago, talking about how he almost lost his Corvette and his cat, when that story had been completely and totally debunked at the time and now, that was one of the worst moments you will see of any presidency in a time of crisis or disaster. And we barely saw any coverage or outrage around that. If this was George W. Bush and Katrina, trust me, that ended basically that president's presidency with George W. Bush. And what we're seeing here as far as the complete non-coverage of Joe Biden and the way he acted towards Maui and the fact that he's now back on vacation again after spending a couple hours there, that's a whole bowl of wrong. And meanwhile, the coverage has been almost entirely negative towards not just the frontrunner and Donald Trump on the Republican side, but all the candidates. I mean, every interview you see on other networks, it's like watching a Democratic activist or politician debate the person they're interviewing instead of asking solid, germane, relevant questions around the economy, crime, border, energy independence, monetary policy, foreign policy. And that's the thing here. One side's going to get almost completely negative coverage. The other side won't get almost any coverage when they screw up, or coverage that basically is very hospitable instead of hostile. Todd,
well, you and Carly mentioned what Joe Biden said in Maui. Let's take a look at that along with some other gaffes recently. Watch.
And Joan Shingang, I'm going to pronounce Shanga Koala. I want to say one thing to your children. I know some really great ice cream places around here. And Daddy owes you. To make a long story short, I almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette, and my cat.
I mean, obviously the mainstream media is not going to show that. But tonight, the candidates all have an opportunity to speak to America and attack Joe Biden, pointing out horrific instances like this. Should they take that opportunity, Joe, or should they keep the focus on what they are going to do proactively as to why they should be in the Oval Office?
I'd say, Todd, the answer to that is both, right? You want to look forward to 2024 and you say, okay, you don't like the fact that your wages aren't keeping up with inflation. You go to the grocery store and that always is just a shock whenever you get the bill by the time those purchases are done. You don't like the fact that the border is completely wide open at this point. You hate the fact that test scores are at a 30-year low. And here's what you're going to do to change all of these things, particularly when it comes to crime and people not feeling safe in their own communities anymore. So, yes, you not only talk about what the problem is, you talk about what your solution is, and then you bring up the fact that all these problems exist because of the current president that's occupying the Oval Office. Carly.
Yeah, well, this is the biggest day of the 2024 campaign election cycle so far. Yeah. So I have a feeling there are going to be about 8 people waking up in Milwaukee this morning with some nervous energy ahead of this debate. Joe, got to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great, guys. See you tomorrow morning.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.